Welcome to WagerTalk TV. This is Last Call. I am Kelly Stewart, Kelly in Vegas, and we have a star-studded lineup today. Lots of guys that are absolutely red hot in their respective leagues. Pavlos is coming off the top here. We've got the Euro final tomorrow, and of course, some Copa America also on Sunday. Then we've got Ronald Cabang. I don't know if there's anybody hotter in WNBA right now. And then bat and cleanup for a whole 30 minutes, taking every single one of your MLB questions. Adam Trigger with a 5% play. Maybe I can get him to give it out for free on the show. I don't know. I can only do so much. Let's bring in Pavlos. Talk about Spain, England. Welcome in. New dad. Congratulations. Also, I usually like to bet against new dads. They're tired. Their test levels naturally drop. There's all these things, but you haven't missed a beat.
It's incredible. I mean, it's like I got some superpowers when the baby was born. I'm on a 19-3 soccer run, and most of these plays were researched in a hospital bed. So, I mean, it's really, I got a new level of focus, and I'm not slowing down anytime soon. Euro has been incredible, Copa America as well. I think we're up plus over than 50 units in the two competitions combined. It's been going really well. And now it's time for the finals. We got two finals on Sunday, one in the Copa America and one in the Euros. To be honest, I love some plays. I loaded some plays on my page for both finals. You can get a finals package for all of those, for just $19, really affordable. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really exciting Sunday. We're going to watch soccer pretty much the entire day. And as for Spain versus England, this is a very, very interesting final. I know there's the entire world is cut in half. Half of the world is singing "It's Coming Home" and they're with England. The other half of the world doesn't want that to happen. They're with Spain. To be honest, gun to my head, I'd take Spain here because they played the best soccer in this tournament by far. England, they were in the easy side of the bracket, and they struggled against teams like Slovenia, Slovakia. They had to come back against Switzerland as well. So they're not really playing that good of a, that well, judging by what their roster looks like. But they get the job done one way or the other. But this is a final. This is not a match to, overexpose and, bet huge units because anything can happen. All, stats, all streaks, they go out the window. It's a final. Players will play, at 110%. So it's really hard to pick a winner or to pick totals. But I do like a prop here. And I also did a free play. You can find it at WagerTalk TV, of course, on YouTube. I like Fabian Ruiz to have 2 or more shots. Now, this guy, we bet on this guy like four times already. He won all 4. And he's a guy, he plays in the midfield. He plays for PSG over in France. And, he's always testing his shot. He has a really mean left foot. He's averaging 3 shots per match. They don't have to be on target. These are just shots. They can even be blocked by the defender, but they're still shots. So I like Fabian Ruiz to have 2 or more shots. It's at minus 120. It's a bit shorter than we expected because, we took him 4 times to win this prop throughout the tournament. And the prices were like plus 100, plus 105, plus 110. But now the books caught up to it. But we're still going to bet it. Because I think Spain, it's probably going to be a tight match. And while the entire English backline is going to look to contain the 2 very dangerous players down both flanks for Spain. On the right flank, you have Lamine Yamal, the 16-year-old wonder kid, who's probably going to win a lot of awards in this competition. And on the other hand, on the other flank, they have Nico Williams, who is also a very dangerous player. So while the English defense will be very, keen to stop those 2 guys, Fabian Ruiz is surely going to fire away with his mean left shot from the midfield. So I like Fabian Ruiz to have 2 or more shots. I also have 2 more plays in this match, but you can find those in my finals package, which is loaded at my page at wt.buzz/PL.
I love it. wt.buzz/PL. Copa America is actually one I kind of was following along. I shouldn't say I wasn't following along the Euros. I've been cheering for my good friend John Murray's England team to finally get something done. But the United States gets knocked out, and I said, I don't really care about Copa America anymore. But we have 2 games. Let's start with the Saturday game, actually, before we get into Sunday. Canada versus Uruguay, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern. You like a total here?
I do like a total, and up until a couple of years ago, the winner of the third place match would go on to face other winners, in the Confederations Cup, where the winner of the Copa America and the top 3 teams of the Copa America would play against the top 3 teams of the Euros in a global tournament. But this is not a thing anymore, so teams are playing more openly, more freely. They don't have the anxiety of playing defensively. This is sort of a meaningless match just to see who is the better of the losers. Now, looking back at the last 9 editions of the Copa America, there's a 7-2 run to the over 2.5 goals, which goes to show that these teams, no matter their profile, no matter if they have a lot of unders, no matter if they're very defensive teams, they just go out there and have fun. And they actually have too much fun because there is also a lot of red cards in those matches. But card props are not widely available, but I do like the over 4.5 cards at plus money and maybe a red card because, Canadians, they're famous for their their good nature and they're very polite. But when it comes to soccer, they've been kicking left and right in this tournament. Of course, they were one of the least, let's say, talented teams. It's not that they're not talented, but compared to Brazil and Uruguay and Colombia and Argentina, they're just a couple of steps behind. So they were getting a lot of, they're very physical. So I expect a very physical match as well in this third place match. But I do like goals. Not really sure how much gas Uruguay have left in the tank because they came here to win this. And they lost to a 10-man Colombia team in the semifinals. And then after the match ended, all hell broke loose. There's people in the stands, Darwin Nunez and a lot of other Uruguayan players. They jumped in the stands and they fought Colombian fans. It's, the videos are out there, but there was a good reason for it because the Colombian fans were attacking the families of it was just a really messy situation. So up until yesterday, we wouldn't know if there was going to be any suspensions. Not really sure if that's the case for the future, but as of today, nobody's suspended. Everybody's going to be in there, and I think Uruguay will use their starting lineup, which is a really good lineup. And if this was a group stage match, I'd definitely take Uruguay -1. But in this case, Uruguay, again, they came here to win the tournament. Now they're forced to play for a third place. Not really sure how much motivation they have, but on the other hand, Canada, they came here as one of the underdogs and they made it all the way to the semifinals. Of course, they lost to Argentina, but still, they have everything to prove. So I think they have everything to fight for. And I wouldn't be surprised if they manage to, give Uruguay a tough time. But if Canada play with the same passion that they did against Argentina in the semifinal, I definitely see them scoring here. I do like the over 2.75 goals at -120 in the Asian total. That's a split line between the over 2.5 goals and the over 3. It's a weird total in the sense that Canada, they played 5 matches in this tournament. All 5 went to the under 2.5 goals. And Uruguay, only the first 2 matches of the tournament against lowly Bolivia and Panama went to the over, while the rest, the other 3 matches went to the under 1.5 as well. So but they were playing very opportunistically there in the match in game 3 of the group stage against the USA. They just needed a draw or a win to top the group. They won by 1-0. Then they met Brazil in the quarterfinals. They didn't need to play a very open match. They needed to be very, very careful. It was a goalless draw within 90 minutes. And of course, in the match against Colombia, again, they played really, really careful. And they lost 1-0. So now they don't have to be careful. They surely don't want to get... It's going to be kind of a humiliation if you lose to Canada. So I'm not really sure if Uruguay will roll over and take it because Canada, they're going to be full of energy. Maybe they'll rotate a little bit, give some time to the to the other youngsters. But I think Uruguay are starting everybody. So I think Uruguay, it's a double-edged sword. Maybe they come here disinterested and just looking to play this final match and go home or go on vacation. But I think Canada will come here. They're going to play very aggressively. And I think Uruguay, they have it in their blood. They're very, very passionate people and very, very passionate, national teams throughout the years. So if Canada play as I expect them to, with grit, I think this is going to be a goal fest year. And again, 7 of the last 9 third place matches in the Copa America had over 2.5 goals, and some of them went to the over 3.5 goals. So I definitely see goals here. Give me the over 2.75 at -120.
All right, you guys know the drill here on Last Call. If you have a question for any of the handicappers, drop it in the chat. As Pavlos mentioned, he is number 1 in soccer, not only the last 3 days, not only the last week, but the last 30 days. He has been on a 19-3 soccer run. That's over 36 units. Right now, you can get his last 90 days of soccer, so 90 full days of soccer for $2.99 using coupon code SOC90. That package is normally priced at $4.99. So Pavlos, let's get into the Copa America final. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Argentina versus Colombia. You have a prop for this one as well.
I do have a prop, and this is going to be a really exciting match as Argentina are looking to become the team with the most Copa Americas in South American history. They're now tied with Uruguay for with 15 titles each. So if they win this one, they're going to be the sole best team in South America. While Colombia, they've only won this once, so they're looking for their second. Colombia are playing really good soccer right now. They're unbeaten in 29 matches across all competitions. They're cruising through everybody. They're playing really good soccer, and it's it's a team game. But James Rodriguez, their star midfielder or playmaker, I should say, is having a tremendous tournament. 1 goal and 6 assists in 5 matches so far. This guy has won, I think, 4 or 5 Man of the Match awards. He's really instrumental for this team, and he's just a really, really good player when he plays for the national team. Not so much when he plays for the clubs, but whenever he's wearing his national team crest, he's really stepping up. And we've seen some really wonderful things from him in international tournaments. Now, Argentina, they're coming here as the big favorites. They're plus 110 favorites. The draw is at plus 195, and Colombia are plus 320 underdogs, with the Asian spread set at minus half a goal and the Asian total set at 2 goals. It's a really weird to pick a winner here, although I do think Argentina are going to win it, but they looked sort of vulnerable. I mean, Lionel Messi, he's 37, 38 years old now. He's not the player he used to be. He's looking a little bit slower. Back in the day, in his golden days, it took 2, maybe 3 players to contain him. Now, 1 good player can do so. So it's been a really bad or a mediocre tournament, I should say, for Lionel Messi. But again, he's Messi. This is a final. Maybe he was holding his strength, for the final. But I'm going to go with a player prop here, and it's James Rodriguez to score or assist at plus 290. I think that's a really, really big price for a player that, again, has scored 1 goal and has 6 assists in 5 matches. He broke Messi's record in a couple of matches ago. And, I like it because, of course, he's leading the Copa America in assists, and he's the designated penalty kick taker for Colombia. So if Colombia are to be awarded a penalty kick, James Rodriguez will take it. And he also takes some free kicks. And he's also scored a lot of trailblazers, from free kicks or from goals outside the box. He's a really, really solid player. So by getting James Rodriguez to score or assist, you're essentially getting 2 possible events: to score a goal or to assist a goal. And by what I've seen so far, he's looking first to facilitate for his teammates and then to score. So you might want to take a look at James Rodriguez to give an assist at plus 500, but getting to score and assist at plus 290, I think that's a huge price, and I think that's definitely worth a shot. So give me James Rodriguez to score or assist at plus 290.
All right, you have a play for all 3 soccer matches this weekend. You have Fabian Ruiz, 2 or more shots on goal in the Spain-England Euro Cup final, minus 120. You have James Rodriguez to score or assist, plus 290 in the Copa America final, and the Copa America losers bracket, over 2.75 goals. As I mentioned, Pavlos has been crushing 19-3 run in soccer. What can people expect, Pavlos, if they buy this soccer package using promo code SOC90 to get 90 days of your soccer for just $2.99?
Oh, we have a nice summer coming up. Don't get the blues because the Euro and the Copa America are over, because in about 2 weeks, the Leagues Cup is starting, and it's a competition between the MLS teams and the Liga MX teams. It's a really nice tournament. Last season, we made 79 units betting on that tournament. It's been going really, really well for us. Of course, we got the MLS, we got the Brazilian Serie A, we got Copa Libertadores, Copa Sudamericana, and of course, in mid-August, the big European league start, the EPL, Bundesliga, La Liga, and in mid-September, the Champions League starts. So if you buy this now, you'll get all of these plays from all of these leagues, and it includes all 5% releases, all the props, and all the futures from a dozen competitions. We got action every day of the week, so it's going to be a really, really nice summer.
I love that. Make sure you guys are following Pavlos at Polly_WT on X. He does a very nice job over there as well. Now we're going to shift. We're going to talk some WNBA this morning. Ronald Cabang, themoneyballer.com. Tell me about your site, Ronald, for those that have not got a chance to sign up yet.
Yeah, themoneyballer.com. It's one of those. It's a tool for handicappers. You get a lot of comprehensive data, advanced stats, betting insights, all on a single page, and you can quickly pinpoint profitable betting opportunities. There's like detailed situational notes based off of schedule, rest and all that stuff. You have trends from a side perspective, total perspective, team totals. And we have custom betting systems, so like rating systems or model projections and stuff like that, all on that page. And it's by matchup too, so you can see how one team does against another team. Styles makes fights, right? So that's one thing that we put into the matchup pages. And the moneyballer.com is fully optimized for desktop and mobile, so you can actually access your insights anytime, anywhere. So it's not. I think one of the biggest things with sports betting and handicapping in general is the time that you take to look at all the stuff, bring all the resources into one spot. And the Money Baller does that for you. And you can try it out for free until the end of the month. So yeah, sign up today, moneyballer.com, themoneyballer.com. There's a reason why I'm running hot in the WNBA right now, and it's literally my only source that I use to handicap the games.
You have been running very hot in the WNBA, and we'll have a promo for you guys here in a minute, but we have a pair of WNBA games we're going to hit on. If you guys have a question for Ronald, please drop it in the chat. All right, first game, Liberty versus the Sky. Now, you have an opinion here based on if Breanna Stewart's going to play or not.
Yeah, and during Pavlos' segment, they actually just ruled Breanna Stewart out officially. So I'll just break it down in the way that I was looking towards this game when she was out, because last night when I was capping it, I had to look at it two different ways. But these two teams, they just played 2 days ago, and they're switching venues though. So this time around, they're going to be in Chicago. The Liberty, they've been one of the top teams in the league for quite a while. They're 19-5 on the season so far. They did take care of business on Thursday. They beat the Sky by 15 points. They barely went over the closing total though. I think they went over by just a single bucket. The Liberty, they have a big game coming up against the Sun on Tuesday. The Sky, they're 9-13 on the season. A lot of noise, a lot of news on Angel Reese and what she's been able to do with her double record and all that stuff. But after that loss, on Thursday, and after this game, they had to travel to Vegas and they faced the Aces, on Tuesday too. So both of these teams, they do have a little bit of rest, but very solid key games coming up. So I think one thing to look at from a roster perspective, I already mentioned Breanna Stewart is out. They're already without Benai Jelani, who has missed a couple games already, and both of these players are great defensive players. And the one way that I was looking at this game, if Breanna Stewart was officially out, was towards the Sky team total over, because with the two top defensive players on the team and they're hustle players, they get rebounds, both defensive and offensive rebounds. One thing with the Sky is they get a ton of second chance opportunities. The majority of their shots come from within the paint. And without Breanna Stewart there, that's going to give them more opportunities, more easier shots. You could look at the last game when Reese was kind of going for her double-double, right? People were saying, oh, she's just throwing it up and getting her own rebounds and missing these layups on purpose. But you got three trees down there trying to block you, trying to shoot over them. And those are tough shots to make. I mean, whether you're from 3 feet or not, you got all these tall people around you, and these are tough shots to go for. And you're able to get these rebounds. Now you're going to be without their Brianna Stewart, who's one of the more lengthier players. I mean, this is just more opportunities for Cardosa and Reese in the paint there. From a trend perspective, the Sky have been struggling offensively, but like I said, I think their defense, cumulatively with both Laney and Stewart out, is going to give the Sky opportunity to score more points in the paint. For the Liberty here, one thing that I could think of is the offense really struggling from not from a perspective of being turnover prone. I think the offense is going to struggle because people are going to have to know where they're going to be at. They're not used to having both Laney and Stewart out on the court, so they're going to rely on Sabrina. They're going to rely on John Quell to run the offense. But I mean, there was a lot going through Stewart, so they're going to have to adjust, and I think that's going to lead to turnovers, and that's going to lead to Sky having some more opportunities on the offensive side of the ball as well. So yeah, that's the way that I would look at it from a perspective with Brianna Stewart out. Is Sky team total over, and I think it's at 79.5 right now.
All right, Ronald Cabang, 37-17-2 during the WNBA season. He has been absolutely crushing it. Ronald, do you have a promo package that you would like to put up before we get into this next game?
I don't. I think there's a site-wide promo though for the next 7 days or something like that, or all access for the next 7 days. My WNBA promo did run out last week, but I think we're gonna start a new one and try to combine it with the NBA season, because the NBA season, I mean, it's already summer league. We're talking about the NBA already, and we're gonna combine the WNBA and the NBA season moving forward. NBA is where most people kind of know me from. Not a lot of WNBA bettors before the season, but now they know that just hoops in general is what I do. And so look out for a promo for NBA and WNBA in the week or so.
Sounds perfect. Let's get into the next game. Sparks and Wings. Break that one down for me and tell me why you like the total here.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are gonna kind of shy away from this game being an ugly game. Both teams are really struggling right now. Sparks 5-17 on the season. The Wings are 5-18 on the season. But sometimes the ugly games bring a lot of opportunity for profit. From a roster perspective, the Sparks will be without their big Lee Yuru, who's gonna be playing for I think the China team or whatever. So she's gonna be overseas. She won't be on the roster for this game. I don't see anything new from the Wings side, but they have been without Satu Sabali since the beginning of the season, and that's one of the biggest reasons why they've kind of struggled. The Wings, they failed to cover in 6 straight games here. 15, they actually failed to cover in 15 of the last 17, and a big reason why is because of their defense. On the season, opponents are 19-3-1 to their team total over, including 9-0 when playing in Dallas. So, I mean, one way to pivot if you don't like the whole team total, to focus in on opponents of the Wings to go over their team total. From a side perspective, the Wings are 1-7-1 against the spread at home. The only reason why I can't get to the window with the Sparks on their side from an ATS perspective is because they're just 1-10 straight up as road dogs. So they're not getting it done in their situation either. With neither team. And the Sparks, the reason why they're losing is because of defense as well. And so, with neither team playing much defense, the only way that I could look is towards the over. On the season, the Wings dead last in defensive rating, while the Sparks 10th in defensive rating. If you look at it from a home road split, the Sparks tend to play faster on the road than they do at home, and their defensive rating is actually dead last when on the road. So just situationally on the season, everything points to a lot of points because of lack of defense. Like I said, I think one way to look if you want to pivot, Sparks team total over is the way to go. But I personally took the total over 171 last night. I think it's at 172 right now. The Wings, they're giving up 89.4 points per game when playing at home. Sparks giving up 87.8 when playing on the road. So that's combined, you're putting that combined, that's a 177 per game. I know the Sparks offense isn't the best, but if you look at some of the teams that have put up 90 plus against this Wings team, they're right in the same boat as this Sparks team. So that's the way to go with this one, is to the over. I still think that over 172.5 is doable.
All right, look on the WagerTalk odds screen, wagertalk.com, /odds. And you can always search for the best number, because that's what we do here at WagerTalk. We want to make you better bettors. Anything from you, Ronald, before I let you go?
No, I think one of the biggest things, like I said, with my current run, I forgot if you mentioned what my current run is, but it's 38-1. So that's like a 78.9% hit rate over the last 3 weeks. That's I can't talk about enough about how the moneyballer.com has been able to help me accomplish that. And it does MLB too. We have a lot of trends and stats for MLB as well. Really, since the WNBA has been hitting so well, I kind of took my eye off of the MLB. But with the WNBA taking a break, I'm gonna focus back on the MLB. This week and next week too. I just my volume is a little bit lower this time during the season, during the year. So that's why you don't see a lot of MLB from me. But with WNBA out for the Olympics, MLB will be a focus going forward too.
WT.buzz/RC, themoneyballer.com. Thanks to Ronald Cabang. All right, guys, we now have 33 minutes with Adam Trigger. I'm going to make him do rapid fire. We're going to hit every single MLB game just for fun. I want to see if he can actually do it. He gets 90 seconds a game. If you have a question for Adam, drop it in the chat. @TopFlightSI is his Twitter name. He is on a 27-12 MLB run, and he has a 5% max best bet up on WagerTalk.com. And his 30-day all access package is still up on his page. All right, Trig, let's get into it. Should we just start from the top so we get some questions from the chat?
Yeah, that's why, actually, Kel, I was one step ahead of you. That's why I put the first 2 games of the day in the chat. So I figured we could start there. I have opinions on them, and then we'll just go down the list. No shot we get them all in 33 minutes. All it says in my end is
Adam Trigger MLB. I got no games, so I just thought that meant we were talking every single game.
I put 2 games in there. Well, you could talk to your boy Newbie Talks about that, because I know he knows what games I'm on today.
Newbie loves you, and his new name is called the Enforcer. If you guys missed First Pitch or Wager Talk yesterday, Dan Newby has a new toy, and it is to keep Adam Trigger. Oh, there it is.
It's so
now he's got a sweat. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so I'll start, Cal. I'll just get right into it. Dodgers, Tigers. It's the first game on the board today. The way that I feel like I've been able to have a really good run in a very good, what's now becoming a very good Major League Baseball season for me, is targeting these guys that are at the AAA level when they come up to the big leagues. As you know, I watch a ton of AAA baseball, and I just think I price these guys, not that I price them better, but I think I have more of the big picture where I do believe that a lot of odds makers are just kind of like throwing numbers up based on, what they see at the big league level, some surface numbers, and I've been able to sort of beat the market doing that. So here we have another guy in Robleski for the Dodgers that's been rushed to the big leagues. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing here. I think that, each case is a little bit different. He started the year at AA, had a ton of success there. His 2 starts at AAA were very good. His AAA debut, 11 strikeouts against Albuquerque. The second one was actually more impressive to me because Reno Aces in AAA have a historically good AAA lineup right now. The best 3 hitters in AAA, like from a metric standpoint, are all on the same team. They're all on that Reno team, and Robleski made it into the 6th inning against them, 2 runs, 6 strikeouts. So even though he's got a small sample at AAA, I think he's showed some promise, maybe more so than some of the other, kind of guys that got rushed through AAA, AA, like 1 or 2 starts at AAA right to the pros. I think there's a little bit more upside for Robleski. I also think that, his Major League debut, which was last week against the Brewers, That's just a good Brewers lineup. I like that team. I was wrong about them yesterday, but we talked about them on Wager Talk today. I think that the Brewers are a very good baseball team. So I have a little bit more faith in him having success against the Tigers, because if you go back to that Brewers start, he was really good first time through, got into a little bit trouble in the fourth and the fifth inning, but this Tigers lineup is just ugly right now. I glanced quickly at the Tigers lineup yesterday. It looked like AAA Toledo. Spencer Torkelson's down at AAA trying to figure it out. Jace Jung hasn't made it up yet. So this is just not a great Tigers lineup. And I still think you get a discount on a much better team in the Dodgers, coming off of that 3-game sweep to our boy Dan's Phillies earlier this week. So they're a little bit more focused, the Dodgers are, than they maybe would be last week going into the All-Star break, in my opinion, because of that sweep. And I just think that you're getting the better team here at a cheap price. Now, Kiter Montero, I really like him. He's another young guy, called up earlier this year. He's been in the Tigers organization since he was 17.
Oh boy. All right, Adam, next game. We're taking 125 here with the Dodgers. And why?
Minus 125 with the Dodgers. I am composing an email to Johnny Detroit as we speak. Right here. I don't know if I can do them.
Listen, I had an hour-long meeting with Johnny yesterday and some of the guys from the Detroit office. I said, guess what, you guys? I am now in charge. The captain is back. I will be the bad guy. I told Dan Newbert that you got a time clock, because if people want
gave the Dodgers
to hear you
play.
Ramble for an hour, they can just read your novels over on WagerTalk.com.
There is one. I wrote a nice novel for the 5%er, so that is up.
There you go. Tell me about your 5% play, so that we don't talk about that game.
It goes tonight. It is in the Twins-Giants game. I think it's one of the national TV games. Again, I just feel like I have a beat on a couple of these guys, maybe more so than the books do, and I think I have a winner there. So 5%er goes in Twins-Giants, 7:00 Eastern.
You can get that for $35 right now on WagerTalk.com. Let's go over and talk about my god-awful, disgusting, repulsive White Sox and why on earth anybody would ever want to bet them. And then we'll get to Jay's question about the Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, so this game came up on the First Pitch show yesterday, and I'm kind of going to make the reverse case. So yesterday I said, Garrett Crochet is a fantastic starting pitcher, but I don't know that there's a scenario where the White Sox ever deserve to be close to a $2 favorite. And sure enough, what happens? The Pirates end up winning the game. I think we start to see that obviously with Skeens when he's on the mound for the Pirates, but I think the whole Paul Skeens mania has elevated the Pirates in people's minds to be much better team than they actually are. This is a very average baseball team. I'd almost lean to below average for the Pirates. I've heard people talk about Pirates making the playoffs this year. That's probably not going to happen. So now you've got kind of the reverse where suddenly the Pirates have flipped to a $1.50 favorite on the road. And I just would be willing to play against that, especially if you can get White Sox plus 1.5. It's only minus 125, minus 130. Chris Flexen's a guy I've been watching for years. He was in the KBO back in 2020, comes back to the big leagues, has 2 really good seasons. 21 and 22 were excellent years for him in Seattle. Last year it went off the rails because it was just we don't have time with this new bell for me to talk about all of the ways Chris Flexen sort of got screwed over last year. But now he's getting a start every 5th day. And he's been pretty good. He's settled in. He's not giving up the long ball. I think that's really important for him. 3 of his last 4 starts have been quality starts. And I'm not sold on Luis Ortiz yet. He's been sort of the bulk innings guy. He comes out and has these 2 outstanding starts against the Reds and the Mets. I don't know he can replicate that. So I'll give you 2 plays quick. One, I don't think both of these guys are just going to continue firing out quality starts. So that leans me to over 8.5. And 2, I think the Pirates are overvalued. I would take White Sox plus 1.5. Minus 125, minus 130 seems very fair for the run line here.
Love that. White Sox plus 1.5, under 2 minutes breakdown. Jay Brophy wants to know, what are your thoughts on the Phillies? Who the hell are the Phillies even playing? I don't have the Wager Talk odds screen open on my computer at this moment in time.
Night.
Yeah, so if you watch First Pitch yesterday, I said, when this came up, I said, the A's are going to win one of these games this weekend. I don't know which one, but they will win one, and they won last night. So I don't really have much here because I feel like you kind of had to play it all the way through. The thought process here for me was, Kelly, these big leaguers, this is work. This is their job, right? And like, Kelly, you got a vacation coming up. You know how you feel at work those couple days before you have a nice vacation, right? It still happens to big league players. So you should never be laying minus 300 the week before all these guys are going to get the first vacation they've had since early March. And I just think that that's maybe what we saw a little bit with the Phillies last night, a little bit checked out, and they lose one to the A's. So I unfortunately think you might have missed your chance, to get that big plus money with the A's. So no real opinion for me. But again, I don't know that I'm trying to lay, $2 with Phillips here for the Phillies. I would lean A's plus the 1.5. I think there might still be a little value in just, the Phillies kind of already being mentally on vacation.
I am already mentally on vacation. I'm in Italy, even though I will not be there until Tuesday morning. Mentally, I am there. Aperol spritz in hand, working on my tan. Adam, we've got another question from the chat. Devin Chapman wants to know the St. Louis Cardinals versus the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch our programming, you know how high I am on the Cubs. You know I'm probably going to have a couple of long-term losses with, futures. I had the Cubs sort of laddered in the NL every which way. Win the Central, probably not going to happen. Win the World Series in the NL, probably not going to happen. But this team could definitely still, make the playoffs. And I still think there's a little bit of a reason to buy low. They now have 4 straight wins. They swept the Orioles earlier this week. A nice win yesterday over, with Kyle, in spite of Kyle Hendricks on the mound, who ended up pitching pretty good. So this is a doubleheader today. This is game 1. The way I would approach this, I would almost do like a chase of sorts in this doubleheader. I don't think the Cubs are going to lose both of these games. I like the way they're playing right now, and I think they will win one of these doubleheader games today. I like Wenisensky. I talked about the fact that I thought he should have been the guy in the rotation over some of the other guys they've had in the rotation at times this year. So the way I would play this doubleheader, I'd take the Cubs in the first game, plus 115. And if you lose, I'd consider coming back with them in game 2. If you win, I would just take your money and take your win and move on. I think the Cubs are playing good enough right now where I can't really see them getting swept here, and you get plus money in both games. So as long as you hit one of them, you're going to come out ahead.
I love it. Adam, any other games you would like to hit on while we wait for some more questions from our lovely audience?
Yeah, I'll talk about Yankees Orioles. So this was one I got right from the show programming yesterday. Thankfully, I passed yesterday because most of the stuff that I talked about didn't really, pan out, except for that, of course, that great A's plus 300 or whatever it was. But I did get the Yankees right. That was one of my best bets from WagerTalk today. I think I would go against it here just because the Orioles are going to get one sooner or later. We have not seen adversity like this from the Orioles, or the Orioles sort of succumb to adversity like this at any point in this season until now. And so now they've got 4 straight losses. They lose. They're not hitting at all. 3 runs in their last 4 games total. That's very, un-Oriole-like if you've watched this team all year and the way that they hit the ball out of the ballpark, the way they put up runs. So, I didn't want to just come out and make a best bet on the Orioles with them being this ice cold on offense. But Rodriguez is the one guy in this Orioles rotation I really do like that I think is still a little bit undervalued. You're not going to find much value typically betting on Corbin Burns. And then there's, some of the back end guys like the Albert Suarez's and the, Povich. I thought they were a little bit overvalued. Tough to get the right price back, to back them. But Rodriguez is a guy I like. So I do like Heel. I've talked about him, this year being someone I've wanted to play on as well. But I think in this spot, and the fact that the Yankees have had some really sort of tight games the last couple of days, they've used some of their high leverage arms. I think this is kind of a do or die spot here for the Orioles. They got to get one of these next 2. Can't just lose 6 games going into the break. I think they probably get this one today.
Adam, I just called an audible. I haven't even told our producers yet, but I still have 2 WagerTalk TikToks that I have to do before. So I need the last 15 minutes of the show because I have somewhere to be at 12:30.
I know you have that hard out. Yeah.
That means Adam has 5 more minutes. So if you guys have a question for Adam, you can drop it in. Otherwise, I'm going to make him talk football because that is exactly what my 2 TikToks are going to be about. And I am excited.
I got one I'm ready. I'm ready for you. I don't have, you know what? I don't have a huge opinion in Cleveland, Tampa Bay. So I'm just going to talk football for a second, Cal. You're going to think this is a homer call. But Syracuse is going to go over their season win total this year. That is my favorite season win total bet. It's moved a little bit, but it's only moved like a half a game. They have as favorable of a schedule as you could ask for a team that didn't go over their win total last year. So, Kel, I know that's a way probably you look at your season win totals is, what did they do last year? Typically, you want to find a good spot with a team that didn't get their season win total over last year, and Syracuse did not. I think theirs was, I think it was 7.
I just opened up my power ratings. Let's talk through their schedule.
Yep.
I'm genuinely curious as this. Okay, so 2 touchdown favorite or so versus Ohio. Pretty much a pick'em versus Georgia Tech. So
can I talk about the first? Yeah. I'm going to talk about the first 4 games all as okay. One, and then we can spot the rest of the schedule.
Perfect.
The excitement level here in Central New York for Fran Brown and for this Syracuse team is off the charts. It's like I don't remember people being this excited about Syracuse football, at least not since I was like a kid, like a little kid, right? So like Fran Brown has got, I mean, the whole area is charged up. He's bringing in great recruits, but he's like, the community's embracing him probably far more than they did Babers at any point, really, like in my opinion. He just, even if he's not the real deal, he's got the gift of like, he talks and you're like, this guy's going to go out and win 10 games this year. But no, he really is bringing in great players. I think, all of the like, Kyle McCord's had to hear just like nonsense all summer about like failing at Ohio State. Why does he he should just be like ready to roll at this point. It's going to be easier for him, Cal. Like, I mean, theoretically, the ACC should be easier for him.
They're going to love him. He goes to a bowl game.
Right.
They're going to idolize him. So, it's not Ohio State
let me just
where
talk
if you
about
lose
the
one game, they hate you.
Right. So the first month of the season is all at the Carrier Dome. They never leave the dome. It's Ohio. You said 2 touchdown favorite. They're going to probably be a field goal, maybe a pick against Georgia Tech, maybe a field goal favorite. Yep. I'll take them in that game all day. Friday nights at the Dome are awesome. That's the Stanford game, which is week 3. And then we'll beat Holy Cross by 100 in week 4. They're probably going to be 4-0. They're probably going to Holy Cross. I mean, the Holy Cross game's a layup. That'll
should be 4-0. I'm genuinely curious about Georgia Tech, especially coming back from Dublin, having played Florida State in week 0. Obviously, they get a little bit of a stretch there from the travel, but that Florida State game, it means a lot more to them than the Syracuse game.
Yeah, I mean, so there you go, right? Like
it could just, I think it could just set them on a downward spiral right out of the gate.
Yeah, for Georgia Tech, absolutely. And the thing is, like, it's not typically an easy trip for the ACC to come to Syracuse. Like, that's depending on where that falls in your schedule. Like, there's one, I think I tweeted at you the other day. Virginia Tech's going to be in a bad spot coming to Syracuse probably this year. Yeah. They beat Syracuse 30-0.
Like a field goal favorite, rolling into town, thinking that they're going to have their number.
And then that is Syracuse. So Syracuse has a weird schedule where they play the entire month of September at home, and then they're away for a while. So I believe that's homecoming.
They have 2 road games, a bye before Pittsburgh, then Virginia Tech at home, then 2 more. I mean, they're 5 out of 6.
So that VTech home game, that VTech game's a Saturday. It's homecoming. It's going to be it's probably going to be one of the bigger home games of the season. For Syracuse, you're really only looking at being a big underdog. And when I say big, 10 points or less in 2 games all season, it's at NC State, and then it's that final game against Miami, which is here. It's at the Dome Thanksgiving weekend. That's going to be an insanely hot ticket.
Do you think that could dictate? Do you think that could dictate their entire season? I mean, So they start off, let's just say they start off 3-1. Let's say they somehow.
That could be to go to the playoff. Their season win total will be in the bag before the Miami game, Cal. Listen,
Okay.
UNLV is like not a tough road game.
It's 11:45. I don't want Dan to bell you anymore. Wrap up your synopsis on your season win total over, and then we're gonna get out of here.
I think Syracuse at worst wins 8 games. I don't know what the is the win total 7.5 or whatever it is right now. I don't have it in front of me. I think it opened as low as 6.5, which is insane. A lot of it's tough to get down on these days, but at least some places don't have them up yet. I think 9-3 is very reasonable for them. I think I wouldn't think 10-2 is certainly not out of the realm for Syracuse this year. And I really do think that the way the schedule sets up, I'd be surprised if they lose either of those early home games to Georgia Tech or Stanford, just because I think the spot is going to be so good for them that they should be 4-0 going into UNLV, which is a very winnable road game, in my opinion. I know a lot of people from this area that are going to go out to Vegas for that game. So Syracuse could easily be 5-0. And then, even if they do take a couple losses, late in the season, they play UConn, Boston College, that home game against Virginia Tech where we'll be an underdog, that I think it's a great spot. We get revenge from last year and we win. Syracuse is going to go over their season win total this year. That's my favorite win total by far.
Hard Rock bet 6.5 over -140. At that point, I might start looking at over 7s. Thank you to Adam Trigger. Thank you to all of you guys for hanging out with us on this beautiful Saturday. Head over to the WagerTalk TikTok so you can see all of our fun betting situations, trends, angles, and of course, free plays. We appreciate you. Thank you for always liking and subscribing to the WagerTalk YouTube channel. You can now check us out on Rumble as well. I hope you guys have a profitable Sunday. We'll be back here next week. Well, I won't, but probably Joe will be hosting Last Call for the next couple of weeks while I have a great time with Ariel Epstein in Italy. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend.